And for such matters, we bring in Batya Ungar-Sargon, Deputy Opinion Editor at Newsweek, friend of the show, to explain this to us. I don't want to say I'm surprised. I'm sort of surprised it's taken this long, but in some cities, women are making like 120, 125% of men.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that you hit the nail on the head in your intro. I mean, this is about having a college degree. We know that 60% of people in college right now are women and only 40% are men. And we know that there is a huge class divide in America. Your fortunes are deeply tied to whether or not you have that college degree. And so it stands to reason that if you have 60% of people graduating from college are women, that is going to at some point be reflected in their earnings as well. We have a class divide. We don't really have a gender divide anymore. We don't really have a racial divide anymore. We don't even really have a political divide so much as we have a class divide about whether or not you have a college degree.
Does it come down to college degree or whether you have had the ability to learn a trade, to go join a building union? There's a lot of jobs in the world that pay $100,000 a year or more that you don't need a college degree for.
There are a lot of jobs that should pay $100,000 or more that you don't need a college degree for. In fact, there are many such jobs that, you know, those people should be making much more than journalists, and yet we journalists make so much more than them because of the way the American economy right now is structured, to where you had this sort of handshake agreement between Democrats and Republicans to sort of screw over the working class. You know, the decimation of unions, the decimation of trade in schools, of vocational training. It's really terrible. And we've seen this, you know, since the 70s, the stagnation of working class wages. You know, the college educated elites, they sort of took over government and then made the economy work really well for themselves and really poorly for everybody else.
Fair enough. The economy works well for the rich. That's sort of been throughout history. This plays into what you're saying. Top 10 metro areas, women earn more than men. Morgantown, West Virginia is an interesting one, but you'd think Naples, Florida, San Diego, New York, D.C., Washington State were big tech earners. Metro areas where women earn less than compared to men are where you don't have as educated of a population. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Saginaw, Michigan, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, huge oil down there. Benton Harbor, Michigan, Decatur, Illinois, Odessa, Texas, where you've got a lot of oil. Beaumont, Port Arthur, Texas, again, big oil. Elkhart, Indiana, big manufacturing. Does this show, though, that men are going back to manufacturing jobs and women are now taking over a lot of the white-collar research, bachelor's or master's degree required jobs?
Yeah, I think you definitely see that. You can even see that in the college breakdown to, you know, where each gender gravitates towards. Women gravitate more towards education and managerial roles, and men gravitate more towards engineering and STEM. You know, I think that what's really interesting is that the people who claim to care about living in a more equitable society, they're so focused on getting, you know, more women into the workforce, getting more women into STEM, getting women, you know, higher paying jobs, when the truth is what you just pointed out, which is like whichever gender is, you know, graduating from college is going to be getting those better wages. And so, you know, looking at a place like Louisiana, right, instead of saying, how do we make sure that all working class people are making a fair living wage that gives them dignity, we're saying, oh, how do we get women into the workforce, when, as we can see from this data, like that's actually not even the dividing line anymore between whether or not you're going to make it.
So the other issue with this, though, is college debt, right? Is that if there's so many people who go to college and come from a middle-class background, take on tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and then the high-paying jobs that create the class divide you're talking about don't exist on the other side.
Yeah, although more frequently you have people who take on the debt who then do get really good jobs, right, who end up being able to pay off those debts. And then you have people who claim to be representing, you know, the little guy, the progressive left, who are now asking the little guy to pay off the student loans of accountants and dentists, right? You know, the data does show that if you have a college degree, you will end up on average making, you know, $1 million more a year than a person without that college degree over the course of your career. Student loan forgiveness would go to the top 40% of income earners. And so I think that that's a little bit of a red herring to me.
Yeah, no, you make a great point, is the people who would benefit the most from the student loan forgiveness are the people who, on average, are making the most amount of money, which is Curious, to say the least. To your point that the economy works well for those on top. Our challenge is to how to make it work well for everybody. Batya, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks so much,
Yeah,
Leland.
great explanation. Coming up. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.